Hello everyone, this is dr.ceevee. I'm the founder of Prana Labs and also a business and success coach for women. This introduction I started doing this video onwards. So far I never used that, but somebody told me that you should introduce yourself before you actually give some advice, so people will take it more seriously. So here I am. I'm somebody who runs a non-profit and been an entrepreneur for a decade, and also coaching a lot of businesses, especially women-led businesses as well as women leaders. So definitely whatever advice I'm giving you, you can take it if not everything, but at least some part of it which will be useful for you. Okay, so with that background, let me get started for today's topic. Very interestingly, I last week I met one of my old students. I think 12 years back I taught her a subject in an undergrad program while I was in India, and I met her in Silicon Valley. She is currently working as a software engineer, or rather she is pursuing her master's now, but she will be getting on into a software position very soon. She is someone who is looking to settle down in the US. So we were talking generally about the visas and stuff, and that is a very common topic if you're in the US. For any Indians, when they meet up, the first topic is basically about the visa thing. That's how it is over here. So anyway, we were also talking about that, and she said, it's very tough to actually get the H-1B visas and stuff, other things. And I asked her this question. You are living in Silicon Valley and you are having a skill set, or rather you are having a qualification, a graduation from, or a post-graduation from, or rather in a very important subject, in a technology subject. And this will actually help you definitely get a job over here. So that's not the problem. The thing is, there is something called startup visa, which the US government has launched. It's been there, but of late many Indians make use of that startup visa to get it converted into GreenCard at a very faster rate compared to general H-1B visas. I'm not a visa specialist, or I cannot give any recommendation, but one thing I have researched, or rather from my knowledge base, what I have understood is that there is a route called startup visa, with which you can actually, the startup founders or the startup founding teams can actually obtain or convert their normal work visa into a green card very fast. So it's like it's a big headache which gets solved because of that. But the only thing they are asking is that you should actually run a live startup which is funded and which is having certain criteria. You are also genuinely an entrepreneur. They don't just give visas to anybody like that. So obviously you have to become an entrepreneur for that, right? So now this is one route or one way which many people, especially Indians who are highly qualified in technology or in other domains, people who take even MBA and other masters, they try to get into some startups. Now, this method, of course, though it is visa centric, I actually like the idea because it actually helps people, especially girls, women, to get into entrepreneurship. So I'm actually I promote this way definitely for girls and women who wants to settle down in the US. So let's as I said, this video is not about visa. This video is all about entrepreneurship and how you can actually get into a startup as a co-founder, so that you become eligible to continue in this startup visa scheme. Okay, so that's the first step. You need to have a startup, right? You need to have a funded startup for that matter. That's their eligibility criteria. There are so many other criteria which you can Google and find out. That will be that's something which you can do yourself. Now, coming to how I advised this friend of mine or this student of mine, is that there are 4 steps that she has to do for herself with a long-term planning. It's not that she can get this immediately. So it's a project of minimum 2 years. Okay, so in 2 years, she can, if she is working the way I suggested, she can actually have a startup of her own, and she can probably get herself eligible and register for this startup visa thing which I suggested. So here we go. Are you ready for that? This is again, there is no proven. There is no proven method, or this is not proven otherwise, but I'm sure this will work. If not 100%, at least you will be there 50% if you do follow these steps. Okay, so let's get started. Step number 1 is, now imagine in her case, she's just a master's student and she doesn't have any clue about starting a company. Though she knows that she wants to do something, she doesn't have any domain specific knowledge. For example, whether you want to start up in education or in healthcare or in technology or in logistics or whatever, whatever is your domain, unless you have a domain specific expertise, it's quite difficult to start a startup by its own. So you need to actually get a domain expertise on one side, and on the other side you need to get the business expertise. But you might already have one thing with you, and that is your skill set, which is your technology skills. In this case, she is already having a post graduation, as I said, in data science, or in computer science, in a very nice machine learning and other experience she has. Definitely that is a valuable skill set that you can bring into a startup. But that skill set alone cannot comprise of a startup. So the startup actually comprises of, one, a domain specific problem is getting solved. Two, you have a business team and a team of people who is working on a particular, solving that problem with a particular solution. So definitely a business team, and of course the technology skills, the technology team in place. So these three things has to be there, okay, for any successful startup. Again, let me clarify here. Startup here, I define in this particular case, especially for the visa purpose, is definitely a technology based startup. I don't know if they actually consider a normal business, like let's say you want to start a restaurant business. I'm not very sure if that is considered, but generally I think startup visa is normally given to these kinds of so-called Silicon Valley disruptive technology startup kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm only focusing on that right now, and the advice is based for that. Okay, so the first thing, as I said, is for this girl to go and start attending networking meetups and events. So the first 1 year, all her job is to attend at least 2 such events in a month. So that brings 24 events in a year. Okay, and if you are able to dedicatedly attend 24 events of networking could be related to technology, could be related to startups, but primarily I would say related to startups. If you can attend different events in different places, if you can, be it online or offline, but minimum 2 events in a month for a year. So if you are able to do that, I am sure by the end of the year, you will come up with some idea. That's for sure. Okay, minimum. Still, if you don't have any idea, that's what I'm going to tell in the second year. Okay, the second year, what you have to do is, if you still are confused with the ideas, or if you are not very sure, if you do not know how to work on that, the second year, what you can do is, the first quarter, you should start attending meets specifically where they say co-founder meetups or co-founder pitching options available. So you have to find out. And in Silicon Valley, definitely there are hundreds of events happening in a day. There are websites which list all kinds of events, networking events. And in San Francisco especially, there is like every coffee shop is a meetup, if you ask me. So that's a kind of networking and meetup opportunities that we have in Silicon Valley. And I'm sure there are many startup ecosystems and pockets where these kinds of regular meetups happen. Now, even if, imagine I'm giving this advice to somebody who is not in such a pocket, but even if you are not in that area also, still you can try how? Through online events. There are a lot of online meetups and events specifically for startups, and if you do your background Google research, definitely you will find out such events by yourself, and subscribe to their list so that you can get regular notifications. Start attending. You might be wondering, oh my god, I don't have a startup, what do I do, how do I go and network, what will I say? Don't worry anything about that. Just go there, just watch the people and say that I am just a startup enthusiast. I'm just here to learn and see how things work. I'm just inspired by your stories. I would like to listen to you more. I would like to, learn about your startups more. So that's it. So if you can attend 2 such events, as I said, in the first year, and in the second year, start attending the co-founder pitching event. Co-founder pitching event is where existing startup founders will come. They will pitch their startup ideas in front of the others. And if you are able to resonate to that idea, if you think that idea is something, oh my god, I also want to be part of that. Plus, the founder will say that I am looking for somebody, an expert in this domain. I want somebody with machine learning expertise, and I want that person to join me, my team. And this is the offer that I have. So there are several such co-founder meetups and pitching events happening in these places. So all you have to do is to go and attend there. That also regularly. So if you can do, as I said, the first year regular meetups, second year co-founder meetups, at least for the first 6 months, I'm sure by sixth month you should be having your own startup. Or rather you should have, or as I said, you should have joined some kind of a startup which is appealing to you. And when you do that, definitely there is a lot of things that you have to follow. You have to look at the co-founder agreement, you have to join. And I mean, that's a different thing. I'll talk about that later. But for now, as I said 4 steps, right? So the four steps are: 1, you start with this networking meet, start attending all kinds of networking meets. That is the step one. And the step two is basically start talking to founders, as I said, to start talking to the co-founders, asking them, you have to ask shamelessly. You don't have to, because your ultimate aim is to get your visa, right? So obviously you have to ask shamelessly that can I become your startup co-founder, and these are the values that I bring in, and this is what I'm expecting from you. So if that works, definitely that changes your trajectory. So, and then, as I said, once you get a startup, and obviously within the next 6 months, you can work on the profile building, the fund. I mean, if you are part of the core team, obviously you'll have to work towards the fundraising. So many other things are there. But I'm sure once you are into that track, you know what to do next. So I'm not going into that. But there are 2 other ways I would like to add on to your networking method. The third is basically, third step, or rather third thing that you have to do is, apart from attending events, you should also volunteer for events. Okay. Now, there's a whole lot of dimension that volunteering can bring to you. Okay. Volunteering means you can either volunteer for organizing or being a part of these startup events, or you can also volunteer for various non-profits while you are working and studying here. So the advantage of that is, when you volunteer, you not just connect and build a network, but also you will develop a lot of skill sets which you will not have developed in your regular master's program or in your regular job. Okay, imagine if you are a data scientist working in front of the computer from morning till evening. Well, you may be working in Google or Infosys, but if that is your job, that's not enough for running a business. Okay, I'm telling you, you need a lot of other skills, which is planning, organizing, executing. It's all about management, people skills. Even if you are the CTO of the company, ultimately you will have to become the manager. I mean, you will have to learn the business skills. So for that, a great avenue for you is to be a volunteer in a non-profit. Okay, so there are several such non-profit organizations where you can choose again what you like to do and start volunteering in these non-profits. Don't expect any money from them. What you are getting is invaluable. You take it from them. Okay, don't expect any money to be given for volunteering works in a non-profit. But as I said, you will develop and you will learn what is entrepreneurship. You will learn how to sell. You will learn how to stand shamelessly in a counter and promote the non-profit. Okay, you will learn how to pitch the non-profit idea, or the for example, last week I was at an event where I was distributing flyers in a big music event, standing in the counter. That's a job which probably in my company I would have outsourced this to some person, but here I wanted to do it myself. So I was literally standing in the counter distributing this and talking about this particular non-profit fundraise that I'm associating with here. So basically that experience gives you a very important skill set, and that is talking about something to a totally new person with confidence. And that is a very invaluable skill. You will not get it in your regular job. I mean, you may get, some people who are in customer care or other places might get, but if you are not getting that, then this is a very invaluable skill. So that is the third important point which you have to take care if you want to start up. And the last and most important is all about researching. That's a background researching. You have to keep on researching on various technology as well as business skills. Be part of various business skills training. You can also take the help of a coach if required, but I wouldn't recommend a coach before you have any idea, because that's, unless you have an idea, coach will also not be able to help you much. So the role of a coach is to probably fine-tune your idea and get you into that business skills. That's what is easier for the coach as well. But somebody who the coach can also probably, like I probably right now I'm coaching a set of women entrepreneurs who came here without any idea as well, who are people without any idea, but there are methods to help them with this idea. So what I shared right now is some of the methods which I try and follow with them. That makes a whole lot of difference. So in this case, as I said, if you can follow these 4 steps, I'm sure you can be an entrepreneur in 2 years. But again, that's the minimum time. I would say sometimes it may exceed, because it depends on your time, if your availability, your focus, your commitment to your own goals. What I said is, if I am here with that kind of a goal, I would have done that. Okay. Of course, I'm here in Silicon Valley for the past 2 years, but my goal and my vision is not about getting a US visa or starting up a new crazy tech startup at this point. So that is why I did not pursue this method. So if you ask me, oh, you are talking so much, is this method valid? No. I mean, have you tried it out? No, but I think this will definitely work if you focusedly work on this kind of a thing. If you can, as I said, the first 1 year regularly attend events, join a non-profit or volunteer a non-profit, that is like add on to your skill set. And thirdly, start researching and reading every day. Spend at least half an hour for reading, and subscribe to all kinds of latest technology and startup news. You can also subscribe to inspirational and success stories of women, especially if you're a women entrepreneur. And that's where I want to pitch my magazine as well. By the way, She Site magazine is a women-led magazine and a women success magazine which Prayana Group runs. And do check it out. October edition has been released, and every edition features very successful women entrepreneurs and others. So www.shesitemag.com. Okay, She Site, SIGHT. Okay, so yeah, coming back, as I said, out of the 4 steps, all these 4 steps, if you can do for yourself, I'm sure you will become successful in your goal of not just starting the startup, but also your visa. I know that is the ultimate visa. I mean, that is the ultimate goal for many people. But let me tell you, if you can actually follow this road, you will start enjoying this process of entrepreneurship. You will start enjoying this leadership, and you will start involving yourself into a power position, which is very different, especially for girls and women. Many times, one of the reason why girls and women are still less than 5% of the funded startups is because many women still go behind the co-founder position. Why? Because probably they are afraid. Some kind of an imposter syndrome is still there with us. So that has to go. That we have to shed that imposter syndrome. Just move forward. Just talk to people, and that's where I think the role of elder women or women who have already been there comes into picture. That's where the last bonus point. I've already covered all the 4 points, but the bonus point is that have a network of a close network or a mentor circle for yourself, and this set of people, this set of women should be always above you, not below you, or at par is okay. But I would highly recommend you to build a circle for yourself with successful women who have already done it and who are above you, so that they can help you, they can guide you, you can reach out to them, and they are inspiring you on a daily basis. So that is something which you can do for yourself. Okay, so that's a bonus tip. So all right, so I'll see you in the next video. I hope this was useful. You can definitely share this video to girls and women who are currently studying for their masters or post-graduation or whatever in the US, and who are still concerned about, oh my god, after my masters, what will I do? Will I get a OPT? Will I get an H1B visa? Will I get jobs? So all these concerns, people who are currently in the US, or for that matter, I'm not sure about other countries, but US definitely has the startup visa. I think Canada also has a similar project. But wherever is it, if you want to make use of such opportunities, the first step is to have a startup for yourself, or be a part of a startup with a significant stake. That's very important. You should also talk to an immigration lawyer if you are looking for this kind of a visa thing, and they can help you with this methodology, and they can also tell you what are the criteria and conditions that the immigration department looks for in this startup visa thing. Yeah, so that's it. So all the best to everybody. And as I said, though this might look like a shortcut for getting your visa, I think this is a great opportunity to promote women entrepreneurship, especially girls and women who are highly capable, highly skilled, studying in great universities. Make use of this opportunity to not just complete your education and get a job, but actually to give jobs, not just in the US, but also back to India. And when you are actually starting something over here, always keep in your mind that you can provide jobs to at least a few women in India. That is something which you should do. On that note, do check out our Prayana Labs another initiative, which is called prayanajobs.com, where we help employers to hire diverse and women candidates. Okay, so that's it. So if you want to hiring, you can always contact Prayana. If you want to read about women's success stories, you can always watch or subscribe to our magazine. And of course, if you want to buy women-made products or sell, or those are like FMCG and other products, but that's also possible. That's an e-commerce platform that Prayana Group runs. It's called pracall.com. So all this is available for you as an ecosystem if you wish to take use of that. But in in US, you have amazing startup ecosystem. Make use of that and flourish. Let everybody flourish. I'll see you in the next video. This is me, Dr. CeevEE, signing off.